reason why I'm not concerned coming into this is because for the first time in any type of proceeding, we're not going to have Jim Jordan interrupting every 5 seconds trying to derail the proceedings. We're not going to have a Matt Gaetz-like figure up there trying to misdirect the witnesses and introduce crazy, insane, extreme conspiracy theories to try to muddle the narrative. We're actually going to have Democrats and Republicans committed to getting to the truth, committed to hearing from the witnesses, committed to doing the work of the committee and not doing the sideshow PR stunts that we see so frequently from Republicans during congressional proceedings. That's become the hallmark of really what this Republican Party is about. You go back to the last 4 years during the Trump years, and all that we saw from Republicans during any type of congressional proceeding was antics and stunts and complaining and whining and interrupting. And now we don't have that. So we're going to finally have a straightforward, fact-based conversation that isn't going to get derailed by these characters. And for any Republican who's out there who wants to call this partisan, who wants to complain about the structure, who doesn't like the rules, remember, they had the chance to get the 9/11 style bipartisan commission that they wanted, but they voted against it. What we are seeing today is a byproduct of Republican obstructionism, and instead Democrats not letting Republicans off the hook, not letting Republicans get away with it. They've decided they're going to move forward and get the facts. And I think it is a huge miscalculation on the part of Kevin McCarthy to pull out any type of defense for Donald Trump, because we all know Trump's going to be watching this wall to wall on TV today, and he's going to be sitting there wondering, why aren't there anyone out there on this dais defending me? Why is it just Liz Cheney and Kinzinger who hate me up there? He is going to go crazy watching this proceeding today because no one's going to be there to defend him.
Adrienne, just to play devil's advocate, though, a bit, is there significant risk for Democrats that Republicans are more easily going to be able to tune out of the hearings and it's just not going to be covered on the channels and the networks that they watch? And so are Democrats missing an opportunity to make their case? And by expelling a character like Jim Jordan, are they missing an opportunity for the worst representative to be on hand and doing his clown show?
You know, Elise, I don't think so, because I think Kurt just laid it out perfectly. I mean, Speaker Pelosi has been willing in the past to allow Jim Jordan, whoever Kevin McCarthy wants to put forward, to have some sort of voice. But this was not worth allowing that to happen, because Jim Jordan has made a mockery of what happened on January 6th. He's refused to believe that these were Trump insurrectionists that were storming the Capitol. And she doesn't have any tolerance for this type of behavior, for something that is so serious, for something that, you know, real leaders in Congress want to get to the bottom of to make sure that this doesn't happen again. So I think she made, you know, you could argue that, you know, it was a, you know, potentially risky position. But going forward in the grand scheme of things, I think you need serious members. And you've got now 2 Republicans on that committee who are very serious about getting to the bottom of this. So you can still call it a bipartisan committee. And look, I mean, you're right, Elise. There are some networks that probably won't air all of these hearings. But I bet you there's a lot of Americans out there, you know, who may watch a different network than we're currently on right now, who are going to find a way to tune into these hearings because they truly want to understand what happened, how we can get to the bottom of making sure this doesn't happen again.
Kurt, what do you expect McCarthy and the Republicans to do today as this hearing goes on? One would anticipate that they'll try to distract attention somehow, or to come out and make some sort of absurd claim about the hearing. What do you expect?
You know, I think they're going to try to do what they have been doing, continue to try to label this committee as overtly partisan and therefore not credible. And that's why I think it's so important that those of us that are in the media in any way provide the context for this. Every time that I read a story that says Pelosi declares war on the Republican Party, I cringe and go crazy because she didn't declare war. Let's be very clear here. The Republican Party declared war on democracy on January 6th. What is happening right now is a direct result of the Republican Party's embrace of extremism. What Nancy Pelosi has done is put forward a necessary and meaningful defense of democratic values and democratic norms. This isn't a two-way street. This isn't something where both parties are on equal level playing field here. This was done by one party, and the other party is trying to save us from them. So I think that it's important that as we see the stunts that are going to happen, whether it's from Matt Gaetz or Marjorie Taylor Greene or Louis Gohmert or people doing insane things in front of the Justice Department today, that the media provides the context that this is happening because Republicans walked away from a bipartisan commission, because Republicans inflicted and inflamed and endorsed the tactics of January 6th domestic terrorists when they came back into the chamber and voted to decertify a free and fair election, that everything that we see happening where Republicans are excluded is because they walked away from the table, not because Nancy Pelosi or Democrats did anything to them.
All right, Kurt Bardella and Adrienne Elrod, thank you both for being on this morning. We'll be following all of this. And still ahead.